Evening. How's it going? Hello, evening. How you doing? He's loving Matt Replica. I'm not like that at all. How you doing? All right. Good evening. Just getting a coffee. How's everybody? How are you feeling? How's the energy tonight? Little bundles of energy that you are. Good evening. Hello, 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 hello. We're all shocked to see my friend. Oh, that's loud. So, I'm good, thank you. How are you? So, Bridget, what's going on? Great, good. Obviously, oh, blimey, what's going on? It's been one of those days though, the energy's been low. I've not been bringing the ticket. Oh, so we've got Mark on in a bit. It should be good and interesting. Looking forward to this one. Hello, Tim. How are you? Hello. Oh, bless you. Oh, that's never good. It's only need to have an exhaust pipe that loud. Hey, how you doing? Evening. Yes, I'm looking forward to Mark coming on. It's going to be a really good one. It's going to be an interesting one. This guy's got 15 years experience in tarot and everything else. So it's going to be interesting to get his point of view, his journey. So it's going to be a good one. So it starts about 8 o'clock. So get yourself comfortable. Get yourself a nice cup of coffee. Put a shoe on my head. Why would I do that? Why would I put a Bobby AA? Why would I do that? You will. We have Tam. You're nearly there, Tam. You're nearly there. We're getting you. Please all follow. Hello, Ashley. How are you? So if this is Mark, good evening. How are you doing? Good evening. If there is any moderators in tonight, and you get people coming with negative comments, we just mute them because tonight it's about what's happening. We've got Hey, Kelly. Yeah, if any negative Nellies come in, can we mute them? I just have one time put a shoe on my head. They're not loving on the hair. Hello. Yeah, just if they've got nothing nice to say, then what's the point of being here, really? I mean, yeah, I can put a shoe on my head, but it's going to be a real tight fit. Thank you. Yeah, if they got a real valid opinion, then please, by all means, respond to them. Because while you guys are messaging each other, I'm just going to be talking to Mark. Or just ignore them, exactly. And eventually they'll go away. Evening, good evening, yeah, just be kind, exactly. I don't mind if they don't believe in what we believe in, that's cool, as long as they're polite about it. But telling me to put a shoe on my head's not really going to help. Evening, DJ, how are you? Hi, how are you doing? You good? So, Mark's coming on tonight. He's been a tarot card readings on Psychic TV, 15 years in the business. What was the last time? Was it when we had Psychic hair? Was that when it was up here? Oh, yeah, I know. Thanks. Cool. How's everybody been doing? We're not doing psychic hair tonight. I'm trying to keep professional demeanour. Hello from Durban, South Africa. How are you today, Heavenly Stroll? It's good. I'm good. How are you? Yep. Just going to get in with Mark in a minute. My spiritual journey. That's fine. We can all have our own beliefs. Exactly. He's not doing any readings. I must stress this. Hi, Mark's not doing any readings. No, it's about his spiritual journey. His aim is about his journey from when he was a child to how he developed ability. Was he intuitive? His family, any history, all the way through to what else he does as well. And really just about his journey and what his beliefs and thoughts are. Obviously, I respect everybody's beliefs and thoughts. And show a bit to everybody else. You guys can talk amongst yourselves. There'll be a Q&A at the end, but no readings. And then with either the top 10 of do and I don't believe, or he does and doesn't believe in a list of 10 things. Yeah, it's basically, I'm looking, all the ones I've done, they've been thank you for everybody who's taken part. There you go, you see, Kelly's on it. Evening, yeah, so it'd be interesting because everyone we've done so far, we've done John, Mark, Lauren, Lizzie, Janie Woo Woo last night, Paranormal Investigator. Tonight is Mark, 15 years. So it's going to be, they've all got their own opinions and we respect them. We may have different ones, but we still respect them. So I'm just going to see if I can't join him, if he can join me, and we will get started. Yeah, good evening. Hello, you. Hello, hello, hello. There's 19 of you. That's a good turnout tonight. It's definitely not me. It must be for Mark. Yeah, and there'll be a Q&A at the end. Obviously, if you guys are messaging between, I can't really read your messages, but chat amongst yourselves, have a discussion. If anybody comes in who says, I don't believe in this, then please, by all means, ask them, challenge them, say, give us some context why you don't believe in it. Or if they're really rude, then there's just no point being here. Just send them away with love and healing. Trying to learn cards. Dave, if Mark's in here, if Mark's in, but Kelly's in here. Some people say read the book. Some people say read the picture on the card. Amy, do you know what? This is why we're here tonight. Let's see what we can find out. If you go to my YouTube channel, Reiki Tree, you'll see the other dual lives on there with other guys. Yeah, they're really quite interesting. It depends what you want to believe in and how you can be convinced, or, you know, yeah. So just going to wait for Mark. Hopefully Mark will request me, or I'll try and find him and request him at 9, and we shall have it. It should be interesting. Yeah, exactly. God. Okay, yeah, Dave, try meditation, empty one. Exactly. What made you believe something else then? Doing Reiki made me believe something else, and also from a young age, I've just had this insatiable hunger to find out about things that I can't explain, or trying to rationalise it. And Reiki, I understand that completely now. You know, cards, spirit guides, I understand all that now. But you know, my beliefs are different to everybody else's. So, you know, it's just like trying to find. It's like, you know, remember like the X-Files and things like that. X-Files. All those sort of things when I was a kid, or when I was young, because I'm quite old now. I used to buy all the spiritual magazines in the newspaper shops, used to take them, used to read them, digest them. Anything like folklore, mythology, any sort of just, yeah. Why not? Just try and expand my mind as much as I possibly can. Who am I to say that these things aren't true? It's what one person believes. We all have different opinions, which is cool. Yeah. So, yeah. There you go, yeah. I mean, my first experience, I must say, of being... I lived in an old house, my mum and dad's house, and my mum's owned it, so my great-gran. And every night, I would get scared in the bedroom. I always thought there was an old lady in the wardrobe. So the point where I used to come out of my bedroom and sit on the stairs. I used to fall asleep on the stairs and fall down the stairs. Top of the stairs used to fall down because I wouldn't go to the bedroom. So I'm pretty sure that was my first experience of that, even though I only recollect what actually happened. Yeah, you know, just little things. I don't know. Just that insatiable interest in everything that I can't explain. Sometimes you can't rationalise things. It's just the way it is. And there you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly, Kelly. So yeah, I mean, you know, I used to buy all the ghost books I could find. I used to read. I said to Jane last night, I once bought a dark magic book called the Grand Grimoires, the Shadow books, just to read it. Not that I believe in it. Do I believe in regression? I do indeed. Yeah, I do. Yeah. We're going to ask these questions of Mark tonight and see what he thinks and his beliefs. And this is truly his belief system and what he thinks. So yeah, yeah, it's going to be a good one. Exactly, yeah. My overall feeling is that we're a very small pin in a massive unit, very small dot in a massive universe. And even though people say, well, I need to see in scientific facts, I need to see the facts. Who are we to say that we can't? Really? Yeah, look, I'm so happy he came on. There's a few other people I want to try and get on as well, but, you know. I'm looking forward to this. Most streams do have meanings, yeah, I would say so. It just depends if you can remember the details and look them up on Google. Well, that's what I used to do. By all means, chat amongst yourselves when I'm talking to Mark. I will do Q&A at the end, and we will talk to him about the top 10 of I do and I don't believe, and why he doesn't believe. If he does, you can tell us why. If he doesn't, be more interested why. No, I don't know. I don't have any on tomorrow at the minute, and I think, yeah, I don't know when I will have next. I will, but yeah, I just need to take a little break, I think. I'm going to do some more, but I need to do some planning around things. So there will be more, but I'm just trying to find, yeah, other people possibly that have a. Do you know what I really to have? So I'd love to have somebody who deals with aliens. I'd love to have somebody who deals with possession and things like that. Hello, Ashley Moonlight. How are you? Oh, hello, Ashley. How are you? Yeah. How you feeling, Ashley? So a few more minutes. I'll try and get Mark on. Hopefully he'll be on live and I can then get into him and we will start My Spiritual Journey, episode 6. We made it to 6. And I never pretend to know everything about the spiritual world at all. I'm still learning every day. Every day I learn something new, which is great. If anybody says they've learned everything, it's impossible. So yeah, all is good. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, did you really? Well, good, Ashley. I like that. I like that a lot. It's good to have that bit of air, bit of forest bathing. Love it. Hello. So please, please talk amongst yourselves. I will come to your questions at the end. If Mark's got time, depending on how much time he's got, because he's a busy guy. Yeah, but we'll try our best. Yeah. Please talk about. Please remember, guys, this is not reading. This is just the journey of Mark, really. His journey. Hello, morning from Australia. Good morning. Welcome. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. All these things have indications. I mean, look, if we look at it, people from hundreds and thousands of years ago have been using these sort of places for guidance. Native Indians, Egyptians, all these sort of people have always used guidance from gods or for higher powers. They've all used herbs and things to help themselves. You know, all these things are done naturally. Who are we to say? Here we go. Oh, hello.
How are you?
I'm good, young man. How are you today?
Oh, well, it's not very often I get nervous.
Oh, don't do that. Bless you. Oh no, it's going to be lovely. So it's 9 o'clock. So I've got 20 people here on my live. So
okay.
So this is Mark's My Spiritual Journey. Let's welcome Mark. Mark, you've had 15 years of tarot and being a psychic. Is that correct?
A little bit longer, but yeah, we'll go for 15 years. That might make me feel as old.
Oh, plus you do other things, which I'm going to discuss with you later. That I had a good delve in your TikTok, which I'm looking forward to because there's some really interesting things. So Mark, welcome. Thank you for coming on. I'm eternally grateful because I know you have a lot going on because Mark works on Psychic TV as well. Plus everything else he does. I watched his lives with Jordan and Paige. So he's a very busy man, and I'm very grateful for you coming on. So Mark, take me right back to the beginning. In your family, was there ever any spiritual side in your family?
Yes and no. The reason I say yes and no is because there's part of it that the family don't like to talk about. I suppose from my accent, you can gather that I'm from Birmingham. And if we go back to the dim and distant past, there used to be certain ladies or should I say, certain gentlemen even, but in this case, it was my great-great-grandmother who used to run the streets. They were money lenders, they were this, they were that, they used to read tea leaves and things like that. And that was my great-great-grandmother. My great-grandmother, she did it a little bit, but she didn't like to talk about it. And it certainly missed my mum. And obviously I think it caught me.
Yeah. So there's quite a line of there's quite a lineage there and heritage of spiritual work or
Yes,
spiritualism in
yeah.
your family. Fascinating.
I can't physically. There are some documents floating around the archives that says that my great-great-great-grandmother was a lady that you didn't mess with. Like, that street was ruled with a rod of iron. I mean,
Wow.
she was a very kind person. She made sure no kids went hungry. I mean, we are talking the very, very early 1900s, like
Yeah.
the late 1800s.
Yeah.
And she made sure no kids went hungry, and all people always had a place to sleep, etc.
Yeah.
And as I say, I'm led to believe that she did do these tea leaf readings and things like
Yeah.
that. But that's as much as I know. I don't really remember my great-great-grandmother, but I do know that she did have a little bit of the gift as well. But that's as much as I know.
So fast forwarding to when you came into the world and Mark was born.
Yeah.
When was your
Now
first? Yeah.
I've been thinking about this now for about 3 or 4 years. When did I find my gift? And I have to say,
Yeah.
I was an only child. I was born in 1968. Believe it or not, seems a long way away now. I was born in '68, and I'll always remember my mum taking me to school up to a certain point where I could take myself to what we used to call back in the day primary school.
Yeah.
And and when my mum stopped taking me to school, I used to walk to school myself and walk back. But when my mum used to meet up with her friends and have her friends over, they always used to say to her, "Do you know, we've seen your Mark walking up the road talking to himself?" And I'm thinking,
Really?
I actually remember that, but I don't actually think I was talking to myself. I was talking to somebody.
Yeah.
And I've got a cousin who I'm very, very close to. She's more like an aunt than a cousin. And my parents split up when I was relatively young, and she used to babysit for me. She's about 6 years older than I. And I remember one night lying in bed, and I remember I was only about 8 or 9, desperately wanting to talk to her about something that had happened at school.
Mm.
And I remember lying on the pillow and imagining that the pillow was like almost like a telephone, like the old dial telephones,
Yeah. Yeah.
and dialing
Yeah.
her number and getting through. So I was talking to her in my head, and I still remember that today as clear as anything. And I remember the following day she came round to see my mum, and my mum said, "Jill, you look ever so tired." And she goes, "I didn't sleep a wink last night. It was like somebody was keeping me up." And I'm thinking, right, that was me.
Really? So so he's 8 or 9. Was that your first experience of
Yeah,
possibly thinking you might have a gift?
yeah. That I've got to say that feels like my first experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will say as well, and I know that this is going to make Paige cringe. About that age, I was in the Cub Scouts.
Yeah.
Now I'm dyslexic. Not
Yeah.
a great deal. Not a great deal is dyslexia, but it's pretty evident when I talk to people how bad my dyslexia is.
Yeah.
And I remember being a Cub Scout, and Cub Scouts have bring and buy sales and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And somebody bought in a Luigi board, and I bought
Mm.
this Luigi board, and
Yeah.
I got it home, and I thought my mum was going to hit the roof. But she just sat down and she went, "Go on then." And
Really?
and I remember having this Luigi board, and it was complete. It was proper plyboard with the black
Yeah.
text on, the moon on one side, the stars on the other side, and the alphabet at the bottom,
Yeah.
etc. And it even had the proper plastic thing in the middle with the little glass in the middle that you went
Yeah.
from there. And she went, go on. My mum said, ask it a question. So I asked it a question, and my mum was absolutely amazed because as it flowed through the letters, the spelling was absolutely perfect. And my mum said,
No, that's interesting.
my mum said, time to put that away, Mark. And it never saw the
So
light.
that's really fascinating, isn't it? Yeah. So
It
what's your
never,
feelings on Ouija board? What's your feelings on Ouija boards now, Mark?
I've got to say, um, if we
Because it
look
does
at
divide people, doesn't it?
yeah, if we look at the history of Luigi boards,
Yeah.
they were mainly in the 60s as a toy. That's what they were sold
Yeah.
as a toy. And the psychic people kind of inherited it from there, yeah? And they have got quite a bad reputation. I certainly wouldn't use a board now.
Yeah.
Purely not because I'm scared of them, but probably because the reputation that they've got. I have to say as well, and you are probably aware of this. There was a lady out there who was so big in the psychic world, a lady called Doreen Virtue. And Doreen Virtue, she did all the angel cards, she did Angel Raphael and this, that, and the other, and she made an angel board. And this angel board was exactly the same as a Luigi board, but instead of being very dark and demonic, this thing was full of love and light and angels and things like that. And instead of having the slider, you had a little pendulum, But then, as a lot of psychics know, for all the years that Doreen was in the psychic world, she's denounced it all now, and she's gone with some new age Christian guy, and she's saying that all the books that she did were wrong, and she was conversing with the devil and all this business.
Wow.
I'm
quite a change, isn't it?
As I say, I'm not overly keen on Luigi boards, but I've got to say I'm not overly keen on angel boards either.
Okay, so from 8 and 9, you've sort of become this discovery that possibly you have a gift. So what happened after that age? What was your next experience?
The next experience was I kind of grew up, went from junior school to senior school. I discovered all the things that boys discover, like smoking, girls, music, concerts, and things like that. And I always was aware of it, but as a teenager, you don't want to say, I hear voices in my head. It wasn't the thing to do. And certainly not the thing to do in the 80s. Do you know what I mean? So it kind of went on the back burner just a little bit. I then want to say I was about 18, 19. I was working as a hotel assistant manager in Birmingham. And one of the girls was having some no, I want to go back to about 84 actually, before that. Remember the original Karate Kid film? Where Daniel gets kicked and Mr. Miyagi puts his hands over him, We all now know that as Reiki. Do you know what I mean? But in those days, it didn't have a name. It was something mysterious. I remember, and I'm going to be very careful what I say because I know her husband and we're good friends. But I remember a girl that I was a friend with. She had a problem with her knee, and I did that on her knee. And even now, she's the only one that I'm the only one that she comes to, because she goes, I know you don't do, because you can do Reiki 1, 2, 3 Reiki master, and I've never ever done that, but that's just a thing that I can do. They call it warm hands, and I can just do that. So if we go from 84, I was about 14, 15. I take it to where he's I was about 19. I was working in a hotel, assistant manager of a hotel in Birmingham. One of the girls, one of my receptionists, she had a major issue in her life and she just could not see a way out of it. And so I said, well, let's go and see a psychic. I'm interested in that kind of thing, etc., etc. And so me, Karen and Lindsay, we went to see this psychic, and I can't remember her name, it was a long time ago, but we sat down on this carpet. She said, I want to see you all individually. And the girls came out crying, and she goes, I mean, this is the days pre-social media and things like that. Yeah. And she goes, I do not know how she did this. So she calls me, and we sat on this carpet. She had her cards out, and she said, she just looked, and she said absolutely nothing. She said, you're stronger than me.
Really?
And she goes, what do you feel for yourself? So I said, I don't know. And she says, the only thing I want to say to you is that I feel that in the future, there's going to be a girl a little bit shorter than you, wears a bob in her hair, that you're going to reconnect with. Now, at that time, I was seeing a girl. We got together when we were 15, and we literally just separated. And in the 80s, that hairstyle was the bob.
Yeah,
and I thought nothing of it. It's just a comment that I always had in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
About 3 years ago, I was walking down the high street and I bumped into her, and we started talking. She'd recently got divorced, and we went for a drink, and one thing led to another. And she still had that bob in her hair. We're not together now, but for a short time we did reconnect, and that's the thing that stays with the most. From there, I met a lady. We got 3 fantastic children between the two of us. We aren't together now, but she bought me a holistic shop opened in an area of the world that I'm in, and she bought me a set of cards. She gifted me these cards. These are those cards. They're donkey's years old. They're a set.
This is your original set of cards.
Yeah, they're called the Mythic. They're called the Mythic Tarot.
Wow.
And I'm really, I've still got these cards. They've done the rounds, they've done the circuit, etc., etc. I'm a bit gutted about these cards because these are a first edition, and you can't buy these anymore. And if you want to buy them, they're 600 quid. Yeah.
Really?
These are the new version of those cards, and they're 25 quid. Yeah. But so every now and again, I do use the original ones because of all the energy that's in them. I mean, if you look at them, there's cards there that are cut, creased. In fact, there's one. It's even got the end missing off the edge. It's been that.
But they're well loved, aren't they?
But the energy in them is fantastic.
So when you picked up that, when you picked up that first deck of tarot cards, what was your immediate thought? Was it, what do I do with them? How did you learn it? How did you teach yourself to do tarot?
Now, this is always the bone of contention with psychics, and we're all different. We all read differently, and we all interpret differently.
Yeah.
And I'm going to delete the word "learn" out of your statement.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Yeah.
Because I feel that we, in a set of cards, we all see something different. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for example, you know, the classic one is the Fool card. It's in all decks. It's a man walking over a cliff edge. Yeah. So do you see somebody walking over a cliff edge, not looking what they're doing, or do you see somebody in a world of their own? Do you see somebody who's enjoying life so much they haven't got a care in the world? Everybody is different. I have to admit, yes, I did my own interpretation, and then I looked in the book. What I find is that when we look in books and we see what others have written about that card, I feel that it can certainly influence what we've developed, and we think, well, am I right or am I wrong? Does the Ten of Swords mean that? Do you know what I mean? And I think it's different for different for everybody.
Do you feel that yours was when you opened that deck and you intuitively looked at them, it's more of a natural pathway? Did you feel it was more?
Yes, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not going to stand up and show you my background.
yeah,
I'm looking at my shelf now, and I've got about one, two. I've got about 8 decks altogether, which are a mixture of tarot cards and angel cards.
yeah,
I'm not gonna upset Paige and Jordan, but
yeah,
personally,
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
cannot connect with angel cards. I just can't
yeah,
do
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah,
You have like the daily angel cards, the love
yeah,
angels, and I'm thinking they're lovely cards, but they mean nothing to me
yeah,
whatsoever.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, of course, yeah,
and you know, there's a set of tarot. Doreen Virtue bought out a set of tarot cards out. Now, Doreen, as I say, she's renounced it all now, but at the time when
yeah,
she was into it, typically a set of tarot cards has 78 cards in it. Yeah,
yeah.
in hers, there's 77 because she took out the devil card. Now, to me, that isn't right. Tarot is tarot. Do
No,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. How can
and
you change it? Yeah.
yeah,
So
and
so do you remember your because obviously tarot is your, and you still do tarot now. So
yeah,
do you remember your first reading? Do you remember your very first reading? And do you remember who it was for?
yes, I do.
Not professional, just your first reading.
Yeah, yeah. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Tell us a bit about that.
Um, I remember. I'm not going to say. I remember reading to this lady.
Yeah, of course.
She had gone through a lot of trouble financially. Yeah, and I remember that she couldn't pay for the reading. And I said, I said, I don't want any
Yeah,
money for it. And I'm still like that now. I'm
yeah,
still like that now. If you speak to anybody, the friends
yeah,
I know, I always say, you know, if somebody needs a reading, they need that peace of
yeah,
mind, we should use our
yeah,
gift free of charge. And people go, what do you
yeah.
mean free? We don't do it free, but sometimes
No, that's true. You're right. Yeah.
we've been given this gift for a reason. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
I did this reading for a lady, and I just put these cards down. And in psychic circles, there were a couple of cards there, and you'd think, do you know what they mean? But because I hadn't read the book, I went,
mm.
you're going to be okay, okay. You've got this devil card, but I feel that with this devil card, it's more of a case that there's no bad energy. I feel that you're being controlled by somebody. And
Yeah,
she went, yeah, that's my ex-husband. He won't pay me any maintenance, and that's why I'm in so much trouble. Yeah, yeah. And then
yeah,
followed by the justice card. Well, you know, you have to now.
yeah,
Everybody talk when most psychics get the justice card. They talk. The first thing they say, "Oh, I see a legal issue coming up." The justice card can mean that, yeah, but also if you look at the justice card, the floor on what the judge is sitting on typically is in
mm.
on black and white tiles, and that's what
Yeah,
it means. Taking the emotion out of it and seeing things in black and white. You don't
yeah,
have to go down that legal road. Just see
yeah,
things in black and white. Take all the emotion out of it. And remember that reading. It did take her a couple of months to get out of the situation that she was in.
yeah,
I'm not going to say for one moment that my guidance was entirely accurate. I don't feel that any
yeah,
psychic can get it right 100% of the
yeah,
time.
yeah, of course, yeah.
But certainly now a fair few down the line, she's happily married, 2 lovely children, and I still read for her now on the odd occasion.
Bless you. Oh, that's lovely. So she stayed with you, even though it was your very first reading. And was that done?
Yeah,
That was that done?
the last one that I did for her was got to be not last year because we had a lockdown, so it's got to be the year before. She wanted to know was her daughter going to be okay at uni? That's the
Yeah.
question I did for her.
Wow. So that was your first one. So where did you do that? Was that at her house, or was it at
Yeah,
yours, or was it?
that was at her house, and I remember
Yeah.
walking in that house
Yeah.
because she had literally just left her partner, and she was living up in the sky in this tower block.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and she had to. It wasn't a particularly nice part of the world, and
Bless you.
and she and literally she had what she was standing in and a couple of 2 cups,
Yeah.
a bed and a kettle. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh
But
no.
you know where
And
she
so
is now is a million miles away from that.
how did she find you, Mark? Were you advertising, or was it just somebody said, "Oh, you need to speak to Mark," or because back then there
No,
wasn't social media, was it? Really?
what happened was one of the girls I was working with at the time said, I've got a friend who's interested in the psychic thing,
Mm.
and I feel that is really, really good. Um, and that's how they put me in touch. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, did that really start your career? So you obviously had your career, but what was your first reading? From then on, what happened? How did you progress? Where did you go to?
Right. Okay. I then started doing the circuit with a friend. The lady who bought me these cards, her friend, that was my partner who bought me these cards.
Yeah.
She used to go into this holistic shop quite often.
Yeah.
And she used to buy incense and all these fancy lights and things like that. The lady who owns the shop, I'm not going to say the name of the shop, that's unfair, but name's
No, of course,
Christine.
that's fine.
Her name's Christine, and Christine said, "I'm organising a charity event for the Lord Mayor of Dudley's charity and things like that. It's going to be a psychic night and things like that. Do you want to have a go at doing it?" And I went, "No, not at all." And she went, "Come on." She goes, "I'm sure to readers you're going to be fine." And I'm thinking, "No, I don't want to do this." Anyway, she talked me into it. It was a fantastic night. And then I had a lovely letter from the Lord Mayor saying, "Thank you for supporting my charity.
Oh,
Thank
wow.
you very much for reading for my wife. She was really, really impressed. And yes, what you said, it was exactly right." And I'm thinking, oh.
Yeah. No pressure, Mark. No pressure on them. So was
Yeah.
that? Did that give you more? Did that give you more confidence, or was confidence ever an issue for you, or not?
Confidence isn't an issue for me.
Yeah.
I will say as well, and again, people tend to raise their eyebrows at this.
Okay.
Whilst at school, I also took up the martial arts as well.
Yeah.
I'm a black belt in a couple of disciplines.
Yeah.
And everybody says, "Oh, you know, that is a very spiritual thing to do, the yin and the yang and all these blocks and
Yeah.
things like that. It's all
Yeah.
very spiritual." I do have to say, about 15 years ago, I was walking across a car park and I got mugged, and there was nothing spiritual about it whatsoever. But he came off
Right.
far worse than me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But everybody says there's a connection to the spirit and the flowing and the yin and the yang there,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, confidence, I've got to say, isn't a problem for me.
Yeah.
My biggest problem is boredom.
Right.
Because I feel that I've connected with Jordan and Paige, helping
Yeah. Yeah.
those two
Yeah. Yeah.
on their spiritual journey. I've got to say they're doing phenomenally well.
They are. Yeah. They're
Um,
lovely. Yeah.
but I've got to say, I'd come to the point where I've been thinking to myself, I've done this like for 20 plus years. Yeah.
You have. Yeah.
Do I want to stop? And I was just on the border of thinking, I tell you what,
Really.
I'm going to give myself a break a little bit. Yeah. I put
Yeah.
some things on TikTok about how I interpret the cards and things like
Yeah.
that.
I saw
And
that. Yeah.
they'd got a few views and
Yeah.
a few likes and things like that. And literally, I thought, I'm not going to walk away from the psychic world, but I'm not going to be involved in it as much as I have been.
Yeah.
And literally,
Yeah.
just as I walked away, I think the universe stopped me. But there you go.
That's a funny way of speaking to you like that.
Yeah.
So you did. How did you get involved with Psychic TV? How does that happen?
I did that. That was purely coincidence. We at the time, Psychic TV was purely on Sky. And we used to run from 8 o'clock in the morning through till 4 o'clock in the morning, just that 4-hour break.
Wow.
And we used to go all across the UK, parts of Canada, Australia, Trinidad and Tobago at the time.
Really?
And it was a huge audience. Our psychics at Psychic, and I'm very proud of the psychics at Psychic TV, especially the new breeds. I've recruited most of them. But it was a huge audience. Well, what happened was we literally just had Sky installed, and these are the days we had a dish on the wall.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
And,
yeah.
I was flicking through it, and my ex come in. She goes, "What are you watching that for?" She goes, "You can do that." She goes, "Why don't you
Yeah.
apply?" And I applied for it.
Yeah.
I had a test reading with a
A
lady.
test. Oh,
I had a test reading with a lady that's still there now. She's a lovely lady. We're the best of friends, and it just went from there. It
well,
just
yeah,
went
because
from there.
I had a look on Psychic TV and I saw your bio, and I think it's the most truest, honest bio you can possibly find.
Well, yeah, and that's just it. I mean, I'm very, very much like Marmite. You either love me or you hate me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everybody, there's various presenters on Psychic TV. There's Paula Feeney,
Yeah.
Charlotte, etc. And
Yeah.
they all say, if you want a short, sharp, snappy reading, have a
Yeah.
reading with Mark, because he will fit in so much into your reading. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how I read it. I mean,
Yeah. Is that how you do it, Mark? Is that your way of reading?
yeah, there's lots of testimonials. There's lots of testimonials.
Yeah.
On there for me. I've got to say, some of the testimonials aren't great. They say Mark was very abrupt and Mark this, Mark that. I've been told by other psychics he's coming back, and Mark told me that he wasn't coming back. To be honest with you, I've got to say, I really don't care. It's how I read.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you don't like it, don't have a reading.
And if they read your bio, it basically says exactly what you do. It's quite
Exactly.
So do you find some people, now this is quite an interesting question. People do go to psychics a lot for tarot card readings. Do you think some people can go too much?
Yes.
Yeah. What's your feelings on that?
I was discussing this with Paige and Jordan the other day. If you look on it doesn't purely happen on Psychic TV. It happens on TikTok a lot as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Where, and I'm not saying it. I've got to say it's not wrong. It's not wrong.
No.
I get that certainly during lockdown. Some people are in some really dark places at this moment in time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's very much like Groundhog Day for people. But in answer to your question, the most important thing is when we read, any psychic reads for you, we're reading for that moment in time. Forget the reading last night. Forget the reading you're going to have tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah.
We are reading for you at this moment in time. So if last night we could see that someone special coming back into your life, if that someone special had bumped into somebody in Sainsbury's, it may not be happening. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying what we do is totally wrong, but what I am saying to you is, if we tell you to turn right and you turn left, you know, it's all very, it's your path, it's your journey, and people who have lots of readings, I find they just get it into their mind that this is going to happen. They don't actually understand the journey, and sometimes the journey changes. And probably the most important thing, and I say this to everyone because they say, you told me last night, the most important thing is that the universe can't tell the time. I really wish it, I really, really wish it could. Like, you know, we can do a reading and say, I've got the number 4 that's come out for you, and I'll do a little bit of numerology. I feel that within the next 4 weeks, 4 days, somebody's going to come forward and they say, oh, do you think I'm going to get a telephone call in the next 4 minutes? I'm sorry, but the universe can't tell time. I just feel that the number 4 is important for you.
Yeah, it's interesting how people's perspective on, and I like you. Do you agree that some people are just looking for an answer that's not going to be there?
Yeah. And certainly I find as well, sometimes you give a person an answer that they don't want to hear. They just don't want to hear it.
Yeah. So I was on a live that day with you and Jordan. I think it was you and Jordan. And you're talking about the 3 C's. Could you just tell us about, now is there 3 C's or there's 5 C's? Because I did a little bit of, what's your feeling? Okay.
clairaudience, clear hearing,
Yeah.
clairsentient, which I am, clear smelling,
Yeah.
clairvoyant, all seeing, and
Yeah.
that's the three C's.
So this 5 thing is not correct.
Clairaudient, clairsentient, clairvoyance.
Yeah.
That's the three C's. I've got
Right,
this funny
okay.
feeling that Drew's going to comment in a moment or two because he was on about this the other day. So Drew, if I'm wrong, you can. Stacey, don't mute him on this. There you go.
Yeah. Because I looked it up and I heard you say the 3 C's, so I thought I'd have a read. Then it's the funny thing is there's 5. I'm thinking now I'm really confused. But in your mind, it's just 3.
So I always thought I've read somewhere there's 5. I just go down the traditional route: clear hearing, clear seeing, and clear smelling. Yeah, and I gotta say, I'm more clairsentient than anything else.
Yeah. So, and I think I remember you guys saying as well that can you have all 3, or would you use one particular one you have?
I do. I personally do have all 3.
Yeah.
But I'm more developed on the clairsentient than I am on the clairvoyant or the clairaudience. I tend to smell things more.
Right. So can you give us an example, Mark, of when you say smells? What sort of things do you mean?
Well, okay. When I was with my ex and we lived in this lovely house that we had, my sons were only little. I was sitting there, and this house, although it's a house on a housing estate as such, it was by itself, and it was like quite a big garden and the area around it, And I said to my ex Lisa, I said, the boys are little. I gave up smoking 25 years ago. I said, I know that you've never smoked. Can you smell cigar smoke? And she went, no. And I went, look, I said, I promise you, I can smell cigar smoke. The house itself had been empty. It was a council property and it had been empty for a number of months.
Yeah.
Anyway, about an hour later, this lad knocked on the door and he said, you don't know me, but my mum and dad used to live here. My mum died a while ago now. But my dad lived here by himself and he passed away a few months ago. And so he had to vacate the property. And the first thing my partner said was, he didn't die here, did he? And he went, no. He actually passed away in hospital. He was a smoker all his life. And I'm thinking, great.
Here we go.
And all he wanted, I think he was just telling me his son was coming to pick up some post and some letters that had to be done for the solicitor. And I'm thinking, okay.
So would you say that's out of the 3? Would you say it's your strongest one that you use?
Yeah, obviously I do tuning. And I do the clairvoyance. I do the chakra thing, like opening up, etc. That's something that I haven't discussed with Jordan and Paige yet. But I've got to say, out of all those, as I say, I feel that for myself, I'm more clairsentient. Also, I've got quite an unusual one that people go, I don't understand that.
Please educate me.
I can see things as they were a couple of hundred of years ago. So I can stand outside. I can stand outside the street and say, well, over there used to be a railway track. Over there, the railway station was there. And I feel that there was a cart track here and people used to like feed the horses and things like that. And it was all.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Is that in your bio? Is in your bio?
No, no, that's not in my bio. No.
Sorry, I thought I was telling about it.
No.
What's your we need a definition. What's spirits and what's ghosts? Can you let the people know, if they don't already know, what's the difference between spirits and ghosts?
Right. Okay.
In your words.
Right. Okay. A spirit. Now this is where it gets confusing because people freak out. Right. a spirit is something, somebody, and I say something. It can be a dog, it can be a cat. Do you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
passes, and it's gone to the universe. Let's forget
Right.
our religious beliefs one moment.
Yeah.
It's just gone to the universe, yeah.
Yeah.
And spirit is all around us, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come back to that bit in a moment or two.
Yeah. Please do. Yeah.
Now, what a ghost is a ghost is something that is got trapped here, that hasn't gone up, hasn't gone down, as the case may be.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's trapped here because it wants to be. It doesn't
Right.
want
Okay.
to. It doesn't want to go up, but it doesn't want to go down. And all
Yeah.
it's doing, it's a bit like a videotape. It's just playing the same sequence over and
Yeah.
over and over again.
Yeah.
If you look at some of the ghost hunters that
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
are out and about, yeah,
Yeah.
they all say, well, you'll see him over there jumping. There's a famous one in Dudley, and he used to jump from roof to
That's right. Yeah.
roof.
Yeah.
Used to jump from roof to roof, yeah.
Yeah.
And they say that on a certain night or a certain time, you can still see him jumping from roof to roof, yeah. And it's nothing new, because
Yeah.
it's a bit like a videotape that you just watch over and over and over
Yeah.
again. Spirit is something that you actually interact with, that you can
Right.
actually talk to. Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to just go I'm going to literally play with your question there,
Yeah. Please do.
because last night was a prime example. A lady popped up and she said, "Mark Page Jordan, my mum passed. I really want to talk to my mum." And I said to Paige and Jordan, "Don't do that." I said, just leave this one to me. Just leave this one to me. If you
Yeah.
haven't had this type of question before, you're both young
Yeah.
psychics. Don't get involved in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had to explain to her that as psychics, it's a little bit like walking down a high street. You can't just grab somebody as they come out of Wilco's and go, "Talk to me," because
Yeah.
it's rude. Yeah. And it's exactly the same in the spirit world. We can sit
Yeah.
there and we can tune in. But if the person that you're trying to ask to talk to you doesn't want to talk to you, there's nothing that you can physically do. And the
No.
amount of times we say, "Oh, Mark, you're a useless psychic. I want to talk to my mum." There was a famous one on Psychic TV many, many moons ago. I was doing this for this lady, and she was adamant that she wanted to talk to her aunt. But I got this 6-foot docker, and she was she was absolutely mortified that I'd got this 6-foot docker. But I said to her, "I'm really, really sorry, but your mum don't want to talk to you." But there you go.
Do you think these people build their hopes up too high, expecting something, and then you have to let them down gently? But
Yeah,
there's no else way to do it. You can't. Yeah.
And that's just it. That's just it. I just think that sometimes people have these expectations of what we do. We are going to be the be all and end all. We're going to answer all their problems, and all we can do is give them guidance. There's a very famous psychic on Psychic TV, a guy called John Healy. Lovely guy,
John Healy.
John. Lovely
Yeah.
guy, Johnny's. And he once explained it to me, and he said, "We're a bit like a psychic vacuum. We're taking this energy, some of it's very negative energy, we're cleaning it in our head, and we're giving it back to him."
Yeah.
And
That's an interesting way of putting it. Yeah.
that is so precise. It's really true.
So, Mark, do you have spirit guides, or do
Yes,
you
I
not
do.
have spirit?
I've got.
And do you have? So, what's your describing how you describe spirit guides? Because some people say spirit guides come, they go. They're like a car; they have mileage. Once their mileage is gone, they go. Do you have one? Do you keep with you?
I've been trying to explain this. Well, I have not. I'm not going to use the word trying. I've explained this to one of the young people I've been working with.
Yeah.
And basically, what a spirit guide is, it's somebody who is up there, who's taken a bit of a shine to you, for want of a better word, yeah.
Yeah.
And this spirit guide just wants to work with you, and they just want to talk to you. Now, unfortunately, you know, you see all these famous psychics on TV, and they say, "Oh, I've got Cleopatra as my spirit guide,"
Right,
or I've got a Roman centurion as my spirit guide, or I've got Tonto as my spirit guide, and things like that. Yeah, I know somebody who's got a dog.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, and okay, this dog does talk, which sounds a little bit weird, I know, but that's his spirit. That's his spirit guide.
What? Sorry, go on, Mark. Sorry.
One of the people I've been working with, they've literally just found their guide, and she was mortified originally about this person. And I had to explain it to her, and now she's working with him an awful lot, and it seems to be working for her.
Do you find having a spirit guide enhances what you do, or not?
My spirit guide is a little bit different, because my spirit guide has this habit of being reflective of the real world. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
And so sometimes I'll see her going, or she will just or she'll just go, or I've got to say, she will literally just go quiet. She'll literally just go quiet. Yeah. Because I might have upset her. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, it's like a stubborn thing.
I promise you, it's a typical woman. Do you know what I mean? Yeah?
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. And thanks, then. And yeah, but I don't mind saying my spirit guide is from the angelic realm. Her name's Emma. And when I first started with my guide, I used to purely read my cards and do my pendulum work with Psychic TV. And I had this feeling that Emma was around. And everybody was saying, okay, how are you going to validate this, Mark? How do you know that this just isn't voices in your head?
Yeah.
And I remember a friend of mine who does a lot of psychic work, she said, light a candle, just concentrate, see what comes through. And I remember this like it was yesterday, that I was literally, I'd logged into Psychic TV, I'd lit a candle, and I said, is anybody there who is my guide? And this voice came through completely clear. She said, Mark, my name is Emma. I'm an angel, and I'm with you. And I said, okay. I said, okay, how do I know that this isn't voices in my head? Can you validate that? And she went, okay, watch this. The next thing you know, it was Psychic TV, and we've got a call center that all the calls come through. Yeah. It was a lady called Harriet who was on the end of the phone, and she went, Mark, I've got Emma on the phone for you. I kind of went, right, okay.
No way. Mind blowing. So, Mark, do you feel that anybody can find the spirit? If someone wanted to find the spirit, because I've got 2 spirit guides, and does Emma stay with you all the time? Because I know some people say, oh, they move on, but mine one, Maria, stayed with me since I found her. I love that about it, because it's nice to have that connection.
I think spirit guides, it's not necessarily a case of does your spirit guide stay with you because you're attached. I think sometimes with the spirit guides, I think it's, do they want to stay? Do you know what I mean?
That's a good point. Yeah.
You know, and I was and people say, well, how do you know who your spirit guide is? I explained one there, that how I got my spirit guide. The most popular way of doing is trying to find your spirit guide is just closing your eyes. Imagine that you're sat on a sunny beach, watching the waves come in, that you've got a perfectly straight beach, and you can see somebody walking to you in the distance. Just keep on closing your eyes, and as that person approaches, 9 times out of 10, that's your spirit guide.
Yeah.
Now, they might walk past, they may not want to be your guide, yeah? But
Yeah,
eventually, somebody will stop, and that will be your guide.
And is that through deep meditation, would you say, or is that just trying to get yourself? How would you?
There's a whole new conversation there about meditation.
Yeah.
I'm going to say through meditation, not necessarily deep meditation.
Okay, so is it possible for everybody to find a spirit guide?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I firmly believe that everybody has a spirit guide, and everybody is psychic. Everybody.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. Yeah, and everybody has the ability, like with you, because I do Reiki, having healing hands and things like that. Everybody can do it if you want to learn to do it and open yourself up to that work. So obviously, I had a good look for your TikTok, right? And TikTok story, and I opened up your TikTok and I was like, why is there all these gravestones here? I'm thinking, what? And do you know what? I watched one. I was like, this is a beautiful thing. So tell the people exactly what that is, because it's a wonderful, beautiful thing to me.
Okay, right. To a certain degree, everything that I do has got a spiritual element to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Many moons ago, many moons ago, the lady that I was with, she'd lost her mum and dad a long time ago. And we were in a cemetery tending her family graves. And for donkey's years, I was in sales. Now, to be in sales, you've always got to wonder what's over the next hill. And I just didn't wonder that anymore. I'd been over that next hill. I just wanted to do something completely different. We were in this cemetery. It was a little bit before Christmas time.
Yeah.
And the cemetery is quite a big cemetery, but the roads are narrow in the cemetery. And the elderly community have this thing called the ring and ride. It's effectively like a bus that takes them places, takes them shopping,
Yeah.
But this little minivan bus type thing obviously couldn't come into the cemetery. And I watched this lady struggle off the bus on a walking stick. And I watched her amble over with the flowers under her arm. And she literally just threw these flowers on the ground, got a walking stick, cleared a bit of the leaves away, sat there, obviously stood there very distraught, walked back towards the bus, got on the bus, and that's the scene of her. And I thought to myself, well, there's obviously that lady there. I wonder if I could start a business tending graves.
Yeah.
And that's how the business actually started. It's called Remembering You Grave Tending.
Yeah.
And it's basically, if you're elderly, disabled, an expat, for whatever reason, you can't go to the cemetery, I go on your behalf. And now, initially, it was literally just cleaning stones gently and putting flowers on. Over the last God knows how many years, the business has grown exponentially. And I now do the deep cleaning of these white marble stones, and I can get them looking pristine again. I have to say as well, the one thing I've learned not to do is I used to have this really bad habit, especially when I was by myself. I'd be in the cemetery and I'm saying, does anybody want to talk to me?
Oh, really?
Never do that. Never do that. Oh, no.
Was that overload?
Oh, yeah. You got that many downloads coming in going, I want to talk.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, okay. So I don't do that no more.
No, but the work you did, the work you've done on your TikTok, the grave, they look amazing afterwards. They look, and it's so nice to see the respecting the dead that way and how you do that. And I know it's a business, I knew it was, but it's a lovely thing to do. And they look wonderful. If you do, guys, go and check out Mark's TikTok and have a look, because how he transforms them into something beautiful again. For that person who's passed away, it's lovely.
Can I just interrupt one moment?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
Stacey, could I just ask you to unmute Paige and Jordan if you've muted them, please? Only because I'm talking about them. It's only fair that they should hear what I'm saying about them. Is that okay? Thanks, Stace. Sorry about that.
Yeah. That's right. So also moving on to that, I also found this flowers, glass flowers, Stonebridge glass. Explain it, because I thought it was beautiful as well.
Right. Okay. Me and my partner, we'd been together for a long time, and we decided it was time that we went our separate ways. we are still the best of friends now. We still talk maybe 2-3 times a week. There's no animosity between us whatsoever. But I left what we called the matrimonial home. I came to live in effectively what's a bedsit. That was a long time ago. And my landlord, he makes glass furnaces and he makes these glass flowers. And I'd been doing the grave tending, and we were talking one day, and he says, "Can you do this?" And he made this glass flower, and it was fantastic. I had a go at doing it, and I could not do it for toffee. He goes, "I can't believe you can't do it." Well, I'm a very persistent type of guy, and 18 months down the line, I can now make these glass flowers. And then I came up with the idea. You see all this glass jewellery people have, like, they have necklaces and earrings and things like that. I thought to myself, that's very, very good. But if you have an earring, for example, if you're a lady, and you go out on the lash one Friday night and you come back Saturday morning and you've lost an earring, the chances are you're not going to find that earring. So I make these glass flowers. And I basically make the stem of the flower hollow, and then I pour only a teaspoon of the loved one's ash into the centre of this flower, and then put a bobber glass on top. And those flowers are designed as a bit of a keepsake, put them on the window ledge and things like that. What a lot of people do is, especially if they've got family that are absent from the funeral, or the family had a special place and they're grieving a loss, what they do is they will buy a flower from me, and then they might go to that special place, like a beach or something like that, and they'll snap the flower and they'll scatter the ashes. It's a waste of money, don't get me wrong, but a lot of people do it.
That's a lovely thing to do as well. That's a really lovely thing.
I mean, realistically, all my businesses, whether it be the glass flowers and the grave tending, and certainly Psychic TV, they're all on that spiritual elk. They
are.
And I like to think that's why I was pulled back from not leaving the psychic world.
So, so do you believe, Mark, there's good and evil in the world? Or how would you do?
I was.
Sorry, I changed the subject, but
yeah, and I'll make no bones about it. I would consider myself to be quite a strong psychic. And this is not going to sit well with some psychics. I get it.
It's your opinion.
We always say love and light. And when we say love and light, we're trying to send out that little bit of positive energy and things like that. But equally, we're going to agree to disagree here. I feel we can work in the dark. We can work in the dark if we want to. Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
And we've got to be careful what we do, because they say karma's a bitch, and it's even worse for psychics because if we send something negative out, the chances are we're going to get it back 6 or 7 times. But I had this, when I first started doing these TikToks, I had this really, really bad troll. Really bad. So I said, look, I've had enough. One more bad comment, I'm not going to block you. I'm just going to send some bad energy out. And he made this comment. 3 days later, he joined me on a feed and he went, "Mark, I just want to apologise. I haven't been able to sleep for the last 3 nights."
And it's because obviously you're right, Mark, because it's not like we can all say there's always light, but in the whole of the spiritual world, there's voodoo, there's black magic, there's all these things out there which are much darker than a lot of things. So you're right. We have to,
I'm not overly proud of doing that, because I do feel that we should work in the light. But certainly people have to understand sometimes what we can do ain't that pure. Do you know what I mean?
That's true. So have you ever experienced anything negative? Have you ever experienced anything negative after you've done a reading, or Have you
Yeah,
experienced a negative
yeah.
energy attached to you?
Again, I was trying to. Well, I'm not trying to. I have explained to Paige and Jordan
Yeah,
about psychic attacks. Now, a psychic attack, it doesn't actually have to come from a psychic. I'm not saying
no,
it's from a psychic, but a psychic attack can be, and this is what's so important about grounding yourself, protecting yourself in a bubble, etc.
yeah,
What's so important is a psychic attack. It can come from anybody. If you give somebody a reading that they've what they've wanted, but they haven't wanted to hear, yeah,
yeah,
they can send negative energy out to you, and
yeah,
that can be a psychic attack, yeah. And
yeah,
people
yeah,
have done it. People have done it to me. Um, I personally, and I really shouldn't say this in front of Jordan and Paige, is that my
yeah,
housekeeping ain't too good. There are some nights where I just go to bed and the next morning I wake up and I feel absolutely mushed. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah. And I think I
yeah,
should have I should have grounded myself before I went to bed last night. I should have
yeah,
let it. I should have sent it back. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But yes, I do believe in psychic attacks and psychic
yeah.
vampires. Some people call it that, don't they?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So have you? Can you walk into a room sometimes and just feel the energy of it? What it's like, if it's negative or
I'm better. I'm better with feeling positive energy
yeah,
than
yeah,
I
yeah,
am feeling negative energy.
yeah,
I the and in the psychic world and on the earth plane, um,
yeah,
one of my personal beliefs is always stand up for the little guy. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I've got this black belt in karate. I was bullied. I
yeah,
know what that feels like, both
yeah,
emotionally and physically, when I was at school.
yeah,
And now one of my biggest mantras is you've got to stand up for the little guys. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And you know,
yeah,
there's been occasions when I've been walking down the high street and there's been people arguing, or there's a man
yeah,
arguing with a woman, and I've said, you know, cut it out, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And likewise, I saw I saw one of the psychics, and I'm not going to say who it was. I saw one of the psychics, and they were being bullied. Yeah, they were being bullied
yeah,
by a customer, and they were trying so best to give this reading. Yeah, but I was watching the feed,
yeah,
going, "You're miles off. I didn't want to hear this." Da, 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 da. And I'm thinking, no. So that's where I kind of jumped into it. Then, if that
yeah.
makes sense, yeah,
So
because I do believe that you know you shouldn't bully people, whether it be on a
no,
psychic
not at all. No,
level
I don't agree with you.
or or in a proper environment, an earth plane environment.
Yeah, because you've done this for a number of years now.
Yeah,
What's your feelings on when social media came into psychic reading, like
yeah,
TikTok,
yeah.
Facebook? What's your feelings on that? And what do you feel about the influx of people who are now doing card readings and things like that? Do you think some people don't protect themselves properly? Do you think they're not unwittingly don't understand the dangers that can be around it? What's your feelings on it?
I do feel that some people don't protect themselves properly,
Yeah,
um, and I do feel, and this is something yet I've got to explain to Jordan and to Paige what attachments are, because sometimes
yeah,
things
yeah,
can attach to you
yeah,
and you've got to send them back. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise,
yeah,
it's like waking up with a massive hangover. Do you know what I
mm,
mean? Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Um, um, I do, I do believe as well with social media on Facebook. There are a lot of psychics out there who are personal friends of mine, and
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
not because of psychic TV. Their
No,
faces I've
no,
known on the road and things like that.
yeah,
And I think there's some really, really good psychics, yeah.
yeah,
On TikTok, I have to say, and again, there are some kids, and I mean like 14, 15,
yeah,
16,
yeah,
yeah, doing readings. They're asking for gifts. They're saying things like, this is for gifters only. Um,
yeah.
this is for gifters only. I'm not going to read. And they're only kids, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
they've got no, they've got no idea of what the cards are. Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, this is so wrong, because you can see they've got adults asking them questions, and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
they're you know, like for anything, I do feel that there should
Yeah.
be some kind of algorithm on TikTok that says, if you're going to do psychic work, you're over 18. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
should
Yeah. No, I
be
agree with you, mate.
unfair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Mark, I've taken so much of your time up. I really have, and it's been fantastic. So I have this list of 10 things, right, Mark? It's called 10
Okay.
things I do believe and I don't believe in. So I'm going to give you 10 things. If you do believe, great. If you don't believe, we want to know why you don't believe and what's your theory behind it.
This could be
Okay, you
interesting.
ready?
Go on.
This could be interesting. So let's start with number one, the afterlife. Do you believe in the afterlife?
Yes, I do.
And the question for that one is, what do you think happens when we die? What's your theory on that? What do you believe happens?
Right. Okay. When you say afterlife, do you mean as in we go up there and stay, or do you mean afterlife we get reborn and come back?
See, that was number two, reincarnation. So it's two. It's two. You've really guessed what the second question is.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
My afterlife theory is yes.
Yeah.
We do pass. We do go back into the ground, and we do go up, or we do go down, as the case may be.
Yeah.
But we only stay there temporarily. Ultimately, we are reborn again.
Okay. So
Yeah.
leading on number two was reincarnation. Is that the same sort of thing?
Yeah.
So how long do you think?
Go on.
Sorry. How long do you think we're reincarnated for?
Right. Again, that takes us down the road of a classic records. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
you need to go into the classic records library to see that. Really, do you know what I mean? Yeah. But there is a theory that says it depends on how pure your life was, to how long you stay up there, to how long you're reborn again. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Is that your belief though? Do you think that what you? Yeah. Okay, so that's two do's. So number three, my personal favourite, Bigfoot, Sasquatch. Do you believe in Bigfoot?
Not at all.
Nobody ever believes in Bigfoot.
Go on, you're gonna say
only
area,
me.
You're gonna say Area 52 now, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? Go on.
We're coming around to me. Okay, so why do you not believe in cryptozoology and a Bigfoot? Do you not think it's possible?
Not at all. I feel that the deeper we go underwater, we are finding things that are like from the prehistoric age. You know what I mean? They recently found a shark, for example, a new variety of shark that they didn't know existed, because it was about 200 million feet down. We hadn't got the equipment to go down. Yeah. But I'm sure by now we've mastered the art of being able to walk across the tundra and see something slightly different. You know what I mean? I don't believe in Bigfoot.
Bigfoot's not. Okay. How about angels? Angels next. So you do believe, or you don't believe in
I've got to. I got an angel guide. She'll kill me.
Do you have what's your experience with angels? If you don't mind sharing, have you got an experience with angels? As in things that happened, or?
Yeah. I very, very many years ago, when I first left school, I went to work at a hotel down in Devon, a place called Salcombe, the most southerliest town in Britain. And there was a telephone. There was a telephone in the hotel that the staff weren't allowed to use. And these are the days before mobile phones, I hasten to add.
Yeah. I remember those days.
And right outside the hotel, there was a public payphone. And I went to ring somebody, and this payphone didn't work. And the next phone was over the hill. Now, I say over the hill, but this hill was affectionately known as Cardiac Hill. It was that steep. And the tide was out. And I thought, okay, I'm not going to walk around over the hill. I'm going to go over the cliffs. Now, that probably wasn't the wisest move ever, because the tide was coming in. And I used to swim competitively. I'm a very strong swimmer. And I remember this little gap. It was only a little gap. And I went to jump, but I slipped and I fell down this little gap through these cliffs.
Oh no!
And I remember hitting the water, missing a shard of rock about this much. and something flicked through my mind. It was white, and it said, "This ain't gonna happen. Swim."
Really?
And that's my experience with angels.
And from that point on, you were sort of, yeah, this is what I believe now.
Yeah.
Okay, number 5, the demonic possession. Do you believe it or don't you believe in it? You believe in it?
Yep.
Have you experienced it before? Have you seen anything
Not
about it? If you can't talk
personally.
about it, it's fine.
Not personally. I had seen, what's the word? When they try and clear somebody.
Exorcism.
Yeah, and it didn't work. I've seen an exorcism.
Wow. So do you believe, Mark, then there's demons? Because you know demons have names, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 6, time travel. Do you believe or don't you believe in time travel?
Do you want to define? How do you define time travel?
Okay, so somebody can travel between time, as in they could be here but go back to another century. Time travelers.
You've probably picked on the wrong person to talk about time travel, because it's
Why?
my thing. It's my thing. Time travel. Yeah. Now.
Okay. No, I'm interested. Please.
There's 2 thoughts about time travel. The first one is when you close your eyes and go to sleep. That's called astral traveling. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And the second one, and probably the most famous theory, is basically you've got 2 train lines. You've got a train line.
Yeah.
You've got a line here, and then a line that you can't see in the middle. And we are on the line that you can't see in the middle. Yeah. But the line to the left is perhaps moving towards the future, and the line to the right is moving towards the past. And it's just finding if you can jump from that line to either one of those lines moving towards the future or moving towards the past. Yeah. But obviously the definition has to be is if you fall at a precise moment, do you fall into 10 o'clock 2022 or do you fall into 10 o'clock 1919? Yeah, time. But and I've got to say, I do feel ultimately that they will find time travel, and it will be it will be things like going on holiday to the 1900s and things like that.
Yeah. So do you? So just while we're on that, so that's a yes, I do believe. Do you believe in parallel universes as well then?
Nah. No.
No. Okay. So number 7, do you believe in aliens? No? Is it one of those that got a family?
No, I'm on the fence about that one.
So it's an in-between one.
Yeah,
I've got to push you, Mark, to do or I don't.
Only because I live in an area of the Midlands called the Black Country.
Yeah.
And there is, you can Google it. There's some light every now and again. There's some lights that appear in the sky, and there's 3 lights, and they call it the Dudley Dorito, because it looks like.
You're not winding me up, are you? You winding me up?
No. You Google it.
I will do.
They call it the Dudley Dorito,
Okay.
And you know,
okay.
Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't.
It's the middle one. Okay.
It's the middle.
So we talked about. We said the next one was parallel universes. So it's a no parallel universes. You don't think there's another universe parallel to ours, which is the exact opposite of what we do or who we are?
I've got to say no.
That's fine. No, of course you can.
No.
So number 9, ley lines. Do you believe in ley lines?
Yes.
So do you believe that ancient buildings are connected in the supernatural power?
The only reason I believe in ley lines is because although we can't prove ley lines, we can prove fault lines, and fault lines are where earthquakes occur. So I've got to say, if you believe in the fault lines, which are physical, you have to believe in the ley lines.
Yes, because obviously somebody just said, what are ley lines? Ley lines are, there's a guy who discovered that a lot of historic monuments, the pyramids, Stonehenge, all those sort of things are linked by ley lines, aren't they? Direct lines to each other along that lines of that sort of thing. Yeah. And then when they have supernatural highway power along it, isn't it? I've never been to
Yeah.
Stonehenge, so I wouldn't know. Okay, number
I've got
10.
to say, I've never been.
Yeah.
I've never been to Stonehenge either. I've got to say, I've
No.
never been to Stonehenge.
Yeah, but
Never
ley
been.
lines are meant to be quite powerful, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the last one, Mark, out of the 10, Atlantis. Do you believe in Atlantis? Do you or don't
Again,
you?
I've got to say yes, but for
Good.
only
Tell me
one
why.
reason. For only one
I believe in
reason.
Atlantis.
The reason is that the cards that I use are called the Mythic
Yeah.
Tarot, and they are based on Greek mythology. And Atlantis isn't Roman; it's a Greek mythology. So yes, I have to believe in that.
Yeah. Good. So out of your 10 of I do and don't, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 do's, 2 don'ts, and 1 in between. So that's good. Yeah. So Mark, would you just quickly before we go on onto some questions, if you don't mind, mythology. Are you a great believer in mythology, folklore, and things like that?
Yeah.
Yes,
I love things like that. I really do love things like that. You know, I think it's the great escapism. You know what I mean? If you look at like the Roman Troy and things like that, you know what I mean, and tell them in Sparta and things like that. I do think, I do like my mythology.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah, and especially Celtic mythology, all these sort of things. Yeah. Mark, this has been fantastic. I've had a wonderful time with you. I really have. Would you be happy to answer? Would you be happy to answer some questions?
On a psychic level, or as in
no, just not. I've told everybody you're not doing readings. It's just questions. Just questions to answer. Is that okay? Just a few more, and then it'll be done. So I have to take my glasses off. So if anybody's got a question for Mark, not a reading question, just a question about his beliefs and what he can give you his answers, his own personal beliefs. Oh, there's a lady here says, I'm friends with Mark outside of TikTok.
That's right. That's my friend Layla.
Yeah.
Hello,
Layla. Nice to meet you.
Layla, you've talked about my glass flowers. I hope Layla doesn't mind. Layla made some of her own jewellery with some ashes in, out of some resin, and they were absolutely stunning. They put my glass flowers to shame. Layla,
give you a follow, please.
Layla literally lives around the corner from me. She got the same accent as me. One of the very few people I can understand. She does some very, very, very loud. And Layla, I hope you don't mind. She does some very, very loud TikToks. And she's Layla's lovely. Layla's lovely.
So if you guys have got a question, can you tell him I've been muted by his mod? I said she's been muted. Well, you're here, Layla, so you can more than happy to. So if anybody's got any questions for Mark before he goes, because I've kept him for quite a long time now, but it's been really an interesting Most Spiritual Journey. It's been a fascinating one. I've loved it. Any questions for Mark? This is not a reading, it's just a question. They're thinking, Mark, at the minute by the looks of it.
I'll tell you what,
Mark.
You know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen, don't you? I'm going to go off and my inbox is going to be full of questions when I wake up, yeah.
Oh, bless you. Why do some spirits not pass on to the light? What's your feelings of that, Mark? Why do some spirits not pass on to light?
I actually do feel that all spirits are passed on to the light. Okay, let me. All right. Okay, I want to try and clarify what I'm saying there.
Yeah. Please break it down. Yeah.
We get a lot of questions. Both Jordan, Druzy, Paige, and it's saying, I'm looking for my mum and things like that. Yeah. What people don't realise is that when you pass, it's a bit of a shock to the system, a little bit like when you're born. Yeah. And you don't go up there straight away. There is a transition period of okay, where's my body gone? You know what I mean? Yeah. Where's my fingers? Where's my thumbs? Where's my toes gone? What happened? I've just left somebody that I love down there. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I feel that everybody ultimately does go to the light when they acknowledge that this physical life is over. Certainly, when you pass and the people actually acknowledge that the physicality is over, they go towards the light. There was a great series which obviously explain. Well, I want to say explains it, but probably is a long. It was obviously a fictional series called The Ghost Whisperer, where this lady saw
Yeah, I
ghosts and
remember that.
she sent them
Yeah,
towards the light,
yeah,
and that's exactly what I mean. That some people
yeah.
don't acknowledge that they've passed, and so they struggle to go towards that light, and they ultimately get there. But there is like this transition period, and like
Okay.
it's just that.
Yeah. So something else here, Mark believes. So Mark believes that we reincarnate,
Yep.
but do some just remain as angels? So Mark believes that some reincarnate, but do
No,
some
no,
just
no, no,
remain
no,
as
no, no,
angels?
no, 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 no. I'm very. I feel that the angel. I feel that some people are chosen to be angels all the time, and I'm not saying that you've led a good life, a bad life, or anything
Yeah,
different.
yeah,
I just feel that some point are just chosen. Put some people, some spirit, some energy is
yeah.
chosen to be an angel. You know, and
Okay.
I also
Yeah,
feel that we don't have any say in what we come back as. There's a very old joke on Only Fools and Horses that says, "No, in my luck, I'm going to come
yeah,
back as
yeah,
me."
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
But you know, it's
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah.
there you go.
Okay. Tia would like. Oh, hello, Tia. Did you find over your career? Did your powers grow as you went on and doing your career? Not powers, but your intuition and your psychic
Yeah.
ability. Did it grow?
I'm going to say no. Um,
Okay.
the reason that's a really interesting. Trust somebody to answer that question. Right. Okay. I feel that we've all got this ability, and I feel
Yeah.
that we're all psychics, and there's some
Yeah.
fantastic psychics out there. The way
Yeah.
that it was explained to me is that imagine that you are coming into land of you're on an aeroplane, the airplane's coming into
Yeah.
land, and you're going across the sea, and you can just about see the lights in the darkness. Yeah,
Yeah.
the lights that you can see, the dim lights, that's everybody. That's everybody, because we've all got some psychic ability.
Yeah.
You've then got a next set of lights, that are lights that aren't dim, aren't bright. That's people who've just started on their psychic journey.
Yeah.
Then you've got this next set of lights that are bright, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's probably where I am. Who people who acknowledge their psychic ability and work with it, yeah. And then you've got this set of bright floodlights, who
Yeah.
are people that have acknowledged it from a very, very, very early age. They've worked on it, and they've got to this level at a very, very early age, and so they're just downloading all the time.
Yeah.
And you
Wow.
know, I've got a very, very good friend
Yeah.
called Laura, and like you know, over the years I've watched Laura grow, and she's not going to go any further now. But by
Yeah.
God, is she one hell of a psychic?
So yes, oh, that's a really interesting. That's in fact. So if you guys want to know, that's how Mark pursued. So let's carry on. Oh yeah, I'm from Kent. Hello everyone. I'm from Kent. Um, let's have a look. There's a lot of conversation. Um, excuse me. Do you believe that there are added extras to spiritualism? This is something I believe. So somebody's
Um,
asking, do you think there's an extra to spiritualism? What's your theories, Mark? What's your thoughts?
right, okay. This is going to be very, very controversial. Yeah.
Go on, go for it. We love a bit of controversy.
If you've got your gift, yeah, use your gift. Yeah. Talk to
Yeah,
people in the talk to people in the psychic world, and by all means, let people help you. Yeah.
yeah.
But this is going to go downhill rapidly.
Okay.
A lot of the spiritualist churches, yeah.
Yeah.
I sat in circle once and I swore never again, because
Okay.
they're just full of egos, yeah.
Right.
And it's egos that are trying to put people down, so they
Yeah.
can stay on top, and they're just trying to take their some of the big names are just trying to take things off the little people and just build their own
Yeah.
portfolio of work that they do. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'm not into
Yeah.
this. Yeah, I think if you've got a gift, use your gift.
I do, Mark. Yeah, I agreed on that point. I was doing some readings here because I do Reiki and things like that. And I had a spiritualist person come in from a church who flat out said to me, "You have not got a gift. You don't know what you're doing. You're lying to people." And I dismissed her. I didn't mute her. I just didn't read the comments. I'm not saying they're all like that, but that's my experience with one person. I've met other people with spiritualists. They're very nice. They're lovely.
That's the SNU all over, and you know what I mean. It's just full of egos. They've got this mentality of, if you don't do it through them, then you're no good. You know what I mean? And that shouldn't work. You know what I mean?
So something else here, if we might not meet loved ones again because they've been reincarnated by the time we pass. So somebody's asking, we might meet a loved one because they've been reincarnated by the time we pass. Can that happen? No. Okay.
No, let me answer.
Oh, sorry.
What generation?
It didn't say. It just says we might not meet loved ones again because they've reincarnated by the time we pass.
If the lady's saying that we might not meet loved ones,
yeah.
Do you mean loved ones from the life that you've just passed from, or do you mean meet loved ones from a life that you had maybe 200 or 300 years ago?
Well, I'll see if she replies to that, and we'll see what she says, Mark, because it's an open-ended question. We can't. Yeah, exactly. Let's have a look. Just okay. Let's read that. Sorry, Mark.
You're all right.
Sorry. People talking amongst themselves. Okay, somebody's asked here, are chakras portals? They're not. I don't. Are chakras portals? To me, they're spirits of energies. They're not portals. But Mark might have a different view on that.
Could you have the question again, please?
Yeah, are chakras portals? To me,
no. They're just energy zones.
Energy discs, yeah.
Zones, that's all they are. And like, you know, if you've got a chakra out of alignment or a chakra closed, then you're gonna feel it. Like, you know, in the chakras, you've got your base chakra, your heart chakra, your throat chakra, and all this business. They're all they are is literally lines. We mentioned ley lines earlier, and they're just lines in the body, really.
Energy, and chakras have been around since 1000 BC at least. Yeah. Let's have a look. I won't keep you too long, Mark. So the person, loved ones. Okay, so loved ones from the current life have passed. I believe I think they're saying loved ones from a current life.
Yeah.
What's your feeling?
I'll add to that. Sometimes you may not meet them straight away.
Yeah.
Because they may well have come back, and you may not meet them for another couple of 100 years. Do you know what I mean? But as I said to you at the very beginning of this, the universe can't tell the time. So it depends where you all fall effectively.
Yeah. Somebody's agreeing with you, Mark, about the churches, saying the SNU churches are very much like that. Yeah. Great. Somebody wants to know, Mark, how do you protect and ground yourself? What do you have a certain routine you do?
Right. Okay. Right. I typically protecting and grounding ourselves. That's two different things. Grounding yourself is really just like grounding yourself is just really like emptying your mind, and just feeling that you want to be there and you want to do this work. That's grounding yourself, opening yourself up. Protection, what I do, and I hope that Paige doesn't mind, I explain this to her, how I do it, and certainly how I was taught, and I was taught this, is basically, imagine that you're standing or sitting underneath a waterfall that's made of light. You've got a hole in your head. The light is filling you up. It goes from your toes up to your ankles, up to your knees, from your knees up to your waist. And eventually this light just cascades out and it forms a bubble around you. A lot of psychics will use white light. I tend to use the chakra colors for it. So, for example, I've been working with Paige, and I said, Paige, don't use the white light. Try and use a bit of a green light for your throat chakra and things like that. So
It
protection
differs.
and grounding are two different things, but you should always protect yourself with something, whatever the colour of the aura may be. I've got to say, and again, I felt a psychic attack the other night, and I protected
Yeah,
myself quite safe with a big black one. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
nothing
yeah,
was going
yeah,
to
yeah,
get through that.
yeah. Good. So something else, do you do virtual teachings, Mark? Do you teach? Or do you choose people you work with?
Right, okay. I don't call it teaching. I call it psychic development.
Oh yeah,
And
sorry.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I do a little bit of psychic development, and that's what I'm
Okay.
doing with Jordan
Yeah, Paige.
and Paige. Yeah.
Okay. One more question, because I know you're getting a bit. I can hear your throat's going because you've been talking so much. And bless you, for staying on so long. Do you believe in psychic surgery?
I've got to say, well, just define that for me, because I feel I've got an answer, but it may not be the right answer to
I
your
think
question.
I think it's Mark. Mark's talking about he's 50-50 about it. People physically going into your body to do like psychic surgery to help an ailment. I think that's what he means.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Mark. I'm gonna say yes, but the psychic surgery, it may not be the cure. The example that I want to give, 3 years ago, my stepdad was diagnosed with terminal pancreatic cancer. Now, my stepdad was lovely, but he was the biggest skeptic going. He hated everything that I do here. Yeah.
Really?
And it's like,
Yeah.
how can you work in a church and going to churchyards and do this, do that? And he was the biggest skeptic going. Towards the end, when the hospice said, we really can't do a great more, we're going to make you comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Towards the end, they brought in somebody who does holistic teaching. So they did a bit of meditation with him, and they did a bit of, whilst he was in bed, some yoga that he could do in bed.
Yeah.
And I remember walking in one day just before he passed, and he said, "Mark," he goes, "I got it wrong." He goes, "I've got to say, the meditation, it really does relax your mind, and it really does give you a feeling of well-being." Well, Mark, if that answers your question about do I believe in psychic surgery, I've got to say the answer is yes. But ultimately, the cancer still took my dad, so it didn't actually cure his problem.
Yeah.
But it did make his ending a little bit easier for him.
Yeah. Okay, Mark. I'm gonna, because it's 10:30 at night, and Mark's been fantastic. Mark, bless you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Lots of love.
Before I go, if you want to tell the people who are watching now what you're doing, where they can find you, what you're working on, if they want to, any readings or anybody you're working with, tell the people what you want to say.
Yeah, as I say, the biggest thing for me, as I say, I was about to walk away from this. I just purely felt that Mark had been doing it for a long, long time. Maybe it's time. The biggest inspiration for me at this moment in time are these young psychics, because they're interesting to watch, they're vibrant, and I feel given the right direction, I do feel that the psychic world is in very, very safe hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel that now, people do the round. There's people do the rounds like, we lost Derek Acora, and let's forget for one moment what you think of Derek Acora. Yeah, he was a great psychic. Yeah,
He was. Yeah.
And now we've got voids where psychics are passing, and I really do feel that some of the new psychics coming through, and certainly some of the psychics on TikTok here, I really do feel that they are, they're gonna fit. They are gonna fill this void. There are a few things. There are a few things that I've said to, and I hope they don't mind. I've said to Jordan, and I've said to Paige. I've said, stop using the word definitely. Don't use that word. Use potentially. I feel. I sense. But don't use the word definitely. It's going to get you in trouble. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Bless them. Yeah.
And
So,
but do you want to know? But do you know something? As I
yeah.
said, the biggest thing here for me is not so much me doing it now. I think that the biggest thing for me now is helping this younger generation,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
is helping this younger generation who are going to make it so much more interesting for their generation in the future. Do you know what I mean? And that's all I
Yeah.
can say.
So, Mark, are you still doing the flowers? Do
Yeah,
you still do the? So, Mark's still doing the flowers. Please give Mark a follow, and
yeah,
obviously you'll see Jordan page on.
yeah.
And you obviously you're still doing the gravestones in your area.
Yep, I'll go
Yeah.
nationwide with that. I'm like a bad rash when it
Yeah.
comes to that.
So Mark's doing it nationwide. He's doing much of. He's trying to help the next generation of psychics, which is fantastic. Mark, this has been my spiritual journey, or your spiritual journey. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for sharing all your knowledge
Matt,
with us
all I
and your
can say,
stories.
I just want
It's
to
been
say
lovely.
thank you for inviting me. It's been an absolute
No,
pleasure.
thank you for coming. It's been wonderful, yeah. And I'll definitely keep in touch. I can't, yeah. Thank you so much. Love and
Thank
blessings.
you.
Take care, everybody. Good evening. Thank you.
Love and
Bye,
light.
Mark.
Bye now. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye. Oh, that was a good one. That was a wonderful one. That was really interesting. Really interesting. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did miss it, it'll be on my YouTube channel, Reiki Tree. I'm going to upload it tomorrow morning. It'll be on there for you guys to watch back if you want, or if you missed it. Yeah, really interesting guy, encouraging younger psychics to do their thing. Great. Obviously his own beliefs and what he believes in, which is fantastic. We all have different beliefs. We don't judge anybody. Yeah, it'd be on Reiki Tree YouTube. I'll put it up there. Oh no, yeah, I don't know when the next one would be. PC, yeah, we have to be careful. So, no, thank you for coming, guys. It's been wonderful. And if you don't follow me, please follow me. Yeah, I don't know when the next one will be. I'm not sure who we get on next, but there's a big one to top. There's been some lovely ones. So he was really, really interesting. Really lovely person. Yeah, loved his energy. And I'm just happy that he's passing on his gifts and his knowledge to the next generation of psychics. Yeah, it's really nice to see passing that torch on to the next generation. Fantastic. Yeah. Oh, bless you. Sounds like, you. Oh, Paige, thank you. Oh, yeah. Oh, hello, Paige. Sorry. Please give me a follow, Paige. I'll follow you back. Yeah, follow if you do follow me, I'll follow you back. It's been great. So, yeah, the next generation of psychics. Paige, Jordan, you're on my list to get on to my spiritual journey. So far, maybe. And everybody's spiritual journey so far. So, yeah, we should definitely do that. It's a shame we can't do both of you together. That'd be like... Yeah. Yeah, it was what a lovely man. I loved it. Yeah, really good experience. Funny stories. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. So I'm on a high now, so I'm going to have to go and settle myself down a little bit. Can I cleanse my phone? You can give it a go. I'm just going to mute you for the moment. Yeah, so as you know, like Mark said, all of you are capable of having a spiritual pathway. It's just what makes what you want to do. Everybody's capable. Yeah, I muted him, Kelly. Okay. Well, thank you guys. It's been a lovely evening. It's 10:30 now. I might be around for spiritual coffee in the morning just to recap. I will. Sorry, Paige. Yeah. So I want to do Reiki. I'll have a Reiki high. It's the most natural high in the world, and it's free. I love it. Yeah, I can't stop smiling. He's a lovely guy. He's just got a lovely, lovely sense about him. And I just think it's wonderful that he's teaching you guys, and you guys are going following your big journeys. It's just lovely. It's just so nice. Yeah, I'm going to stop going on now. All of them have been good. All my spiritual journeys have been really good so far. All different in their own right. All different beliefs. It's been great. Yeah. So, guys, it is Samantha. Yeah, I'm a Reiki master, so I love it. Yeah. You've studied Kelly, you know. Oh, bless you. Thank you, Paige. I'll be looking at you and Jordan. I love watching your lives. I'm still learning. I still learn knowledge every day from you guys. I learn knowledge from all of you. So good night. God bless. Sleep well. I'll see you tomorrow morning for a cup of coffee. We'll have a chat about it. I can't wait. Spiritual coffee morning. Who's coming? See you tomorrow morning. Bye.